Feels so good. Hey everybody, it's Amanda from Sebago Scents, and I am here on a very hot day, grateful for air conditioning. It's about 90 degrees here. I'm wondering how I'm going to survive in a few weeks when I go to Vegas, where I hear it's been 113 degrees pretty consistently. Very nervous about that, but excited also to be able to make the trip out for the convention this year. Like I said, it's really hot here, and I'm kind of a scatterbrain sometimes. I actually left a bunch of testers in my car and they all melted together. And I know I'm not the only person to do this because I see comments posted on the Scentsy forums all the time about what do I do? They're all stuck together, things like that. I can't open them. So this is some of the solutions that I've come up with. If you've got some of your own, please share because I'm constantly leaving my testers in the car and looking for better ways to deal with, restoring them to their original condition. So again, this is just a quick video to help consultants who are kind of scatterbrained like me. This is actually a new method that I'm trying out for the first time. I've left them just sitting in the sun for about 20 minutes, really. The first 5 minutes they melted a little bit, but I noticed that the sun kept moving away from where I was putting them. So as you can see, if I can find the right one, Awakening is pretty much liquid, which is what I wanted. I wanted all the liquid to go back to the bottom of the tester so that it wasn't stuck to the top. But I took the lids off and I kind of went in both the lid and around the container, obviously, so that when I put the cap back on, it doesn't stick. And that seemed to clear it out pretty well. This one worked a lot better than, let's say, I don't know, Wishing Well, which is still stuck to the top. So I'm going to probably leave that in the sun a little bit longer or try something else. This is my Wishing Well tester. As you can see, a lot of it's still stuck to the top, and I don't want to wipe it out. I'm just going to try leaving it in the sun longer. Every now and then you'll get a tester that just won't open no matter how hard you twist it. So what I do is I try running it under hot water. Sometimes the tap works, but sometimes I also boil water or heat it up in the microwave for about, I don't know, a minute. To keep the testers from floating, I sometimes put something on top. I'm being very creative today. I just don't want them floating away like that blue one is doing right now. I want them to stay submerged under the water so that it melts. So whatever you have handy. This water's still a little hot for my hand. Nope, that's not gonna work. There we go. Here's a thunderstorm. I just took it out. I don't know if I can open it with one hand just yet. I finally got the thunderstorm tester open. A nice trick is to actually wrap it in a cloth and use the cloth to sort of as leverage because it's slippery and it's wet. So if you dry it off and kind of wrap the lid with the napkin or cloth in the bottom and twist in opposite directions, it usually opens a lot easier. When I've salvaged as much wax as I can from the lids, I try to melt them down a little bit so that they don't look so ugly. The ways I've done this, I actually take a frying pan or a pot, put some water in it to create kind of like a double boiler effect, and then I just heat them up slowly until they return to liquid and take them out. I try not to do too many scents at once because it can be overpowering when you get all the scents in, and I really don't want them to mix together. So another alternative to this would be popping them in the microwave, but I'm always nervous about microwaving my testers just because I don't want to damage them. I'm going to throw Thunderstorm in my pot. As you can see, Wishing Well's melting down pretty nicely. I think Welcome Home's ready to come out. It could be a little more liquid. I'm not a fan of that little lump on the side. I want them to look, brand new. thunderstorm's just about ready to come out. There is that little piece of wax, but if I know Scentsy well enough, it's going to melt. Just like, you know, if you have chocolate and you don't want to get the chocolate so hot that it melts and burns, it will melt itself with the temperature. A toothpick can help clean out the crevices of your lid. As well as the outer portions of that container itself. Oops. To expedite the cooling process, I also put them in the refrigerator. As you can see, our fridge is full. You obviously want them flat if you want the liquid to stay flat. The last tip I have, well, actually experiment, because I've never actually done this before, but as you can see, my baked apple pie lid is really gross. So what I decided to do was stick it in a bowl, boil some water in our lovely duck tea pot. Oops. And I'm just going to pour the hot water over the dish. And hope that it washes out the wax. And doesn't damage the tester too much. Just let it soak a little bit so that the wax melts, and then I can wipe it clean when it's done. Here it is finished. It's still far from perfect, but at least I'll be able to get the cap on and off without trouble. Another tip for when you find yourself with tons of caps and testers without names, remember that the label underneath tells you what scent it is. So if you're not sure, you can see this is Mini Tester MT BBC for blueberry cheesecake. Oops. And if you don't know them, whoops, make sure that they're obviously dry. Ah, you don't want to do that. Make sure it's fully solidified before you pick it up. That's why I like putting them in the refrigerator, because I know that they will freeze and harden. So I'll just pop that one back in. As you can see, I'm down to one. That actually made it a whole lot faster with the melting, and you can see as long as it gets to a decent percentage of liquid, it will melt the rest and it'll look pretty good. So anyway, like I was saying, when you find yourself with all these testers and things, is this one dry? The code's on the back, and it's also on the front. MT AWK for Awakening. If you have the code and you're not really sure which code it is, I'll use French Lavender because that's been out for a while. Take the last 3 letters, FRE, go to your website, and then type it in the search bar, and it will come up with the scent. So that's a trick I've used if I didn't know the codes. I would just do that. So at this point, all my testers are relaxing in the refrigerator, where I wish I could be on this hot day. My hands do smell fantastic, though. I've got to say that much. If you've ever opened a box of Scentsy and smelled that initial medley of scents that are mixed together, it's just amazing. So that's how I smell. I smell pretty good at this point. But I hope this video has been informational and maybe you picked up a few tricks. I realize it was all basic knowledge, you know, heat melts wax and cleaning things makes them easier to open and stuff like that. But remember to use common sense when you're heating things up, especially if you may get hot enough that it can burn you. Be safe, don't hurt yourself. If you're microwaving, I always make sure I take the lids off before I put them in the microwave. Sometimes I rest them on top, but I don't tighten them because I'm pretty sure that they would explode if heated up. I'm not really sure how that works, but I know things blow up in the microwave all the time, and I don't want to be responsible for that. So be smart when you're microwaving things and dealing with hot water. I also think, but I'm not 100% positive, that if you have the wax heated and you put the lid on and it's all melted and you put it in the refrigerator, I think it will create a sealing effect. I think that's how canning works, but I'm not 100% positive. So just, you know, be smart, use common sense, and you know, let me know what you come up with, because I'm eager to see how other people are solving this problem. Hopefully there's a better way to do it. I don't know. I think my way's pretty efficient. So let me know what you think. Send me any questions that you have, and you know, if you need more information about Scentsy, or you know, just some more tips or tricks that I have, you know how to find me.